Good morning, everyone. My name is Crystal Lee. Thank you so much for joining me for our yoga flow today. Take in your seat of any kind, your choice to either extend your legs forward, back, or cross legs, sit up on bolsters, pillow, or blocks. Those are helpful. Allow yourself to land right here, your own space. Taking your time to notice how you're placing your body in space, starting from the ground up. Feel the sit bone grounded. Feel the objects that you're sitting on. And then moving your attention to your pelvis and hips. Your belly soften. Feel your chest rising and falling. Your shoulders are relaxed. Noticing the back of your head also lined up with the shoulder. Imagining the wall behind you. You're leaning against. And then feel the crown reaching upward as you lengthen your spine. Inhale. Exhale, soften and relax. You can keep your eyes softened, gazing down, or close them completely. Take two more to feel your own presence being here. Following one breath at a time to feel your own presence, to feel your own energy right now. No need to do more, do less, just being with this rhythm that you already have right now. Your breath moves you, constant changing. And the next time you inhale, placing your hands in front of your heart center, maybe connecting yourself to your intention for today's practice. Again, whatever you are, just noticing what motivating you to come back to the mats today. And that is enough. That inspiration, that motivation to drive us to do the things that we commit to. Your dedication to this practice is enough. For the rest of the time, just returning to this breath as a guide to be present. And this is also a practice for you, so listen to what you need. Feel free to do any expressions. I think movement is expression and also connecting to your own innate ability. It's also a blessing. Releasing your hands by your side now. Inhale to sweep your arms up. Exhale, palms down, soften. Moving your shoulders, inhale, reach up. Exhale, palms down. Let's do one more just like that. Slow breath in to reach. Slow breath out to descend. Take your fingertips towards the shoulders. So rotating your trunk, your midrib, your chest. And then use the breath and think about you're blowing out a candle. So I sometimes call this a candle breath, audible breath, in and out. Or think about just focusing on the exhale. Steady base. Keep going, 20 more. You can close your eyes, last 10. 5. When you finish last round, just release your hands by your side bend to one side, right or left, doesn't really matter. We're gonna do both sides. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. This time, come all the way back up, walk your fingertips behind you. Try to extend your arms as far back as you can. Tented fingers, so if you're using your palms, maybe lifting the chest forward and up. Feel the arch on your lower back. And on the exhale, round. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. Go for your own rhythm. Inhale, open. Exhale, round. It doesn't have to be the same rhythm as me. Go at your own pace always. You can linger anywhere that feels good. You can extend the inhale and exhale, feeling the pause in the middle, feeling the emptiness in the end of the breath. 5 more. Moving your spine. Two more. Take your hands on your knees and start to rotate. Let your chest guide the way. So we're going to do a spiral. Let your chest guide to the left and right, kind of like circular motion. So again, warming up the spine. And some of us might go a little deeper. Maybe you bend your elbows and going a little forward. And then check with how your breath changes in those movements when you're doing fast, slow, bigger, deeper flexion versus less. And see how that changes and shifting the energy around. Make sure you go the opposite direction. Let's go back and forward for 3 more. Change the direction. And then come back to center. Find your way to a seat. Let your feet out forward. You can keep your heels to the mat with distance. Hands can be behind you. We're just going to do a little knee tap. Internal, external rotation. If you want a little bit more challenging position would be lifting your hands off from the floor and try to rotate your hips only. You're still facing your mat. And then your hips will shift, right? You're noticing you might be even walking forward. You're not in the same spot anymore. And that's okay. Try to keep your feet parallel to one another. Take your hands behind you. Press your chest up. You can stay here or lift your hips away into reverse tabletop. Just waking up your posterior chain, your back side of your body, your tricep, extended shoulders, and then your hips are pressing up towards the sky. Feel the lift engaging through the glutes. Drive down through your heels. And release. Shake it all out. Tapping the back of your thighs, knees against the mats to make some drum rolls. And then we'll change it up to tabletop. Let's set up. You are always welcome to use block, bringing the floor closer to you, which I really like. If you're using block, your wrist is in the middle of the block. You're spreading your fingers wide apart. Thumbs and pinky are the width of your block. So I'm trying to grab it or squeezing my fingers to the block to activate the joints of the fingers. And when you are doing that, you will feel that you're not putting too much weight on the wrist, although there is still even distribution across your hands. So feel the weight distributing across the hands. Now, lower the knees if you need knee pads. This is the time you can place blanket or knee pads under. Roll out your ankles, lift up your feet off from the ground, go both directions. Tuck your toes under, float your knees just an inch off the ground, just very little hovering. Look forward. Step back to plank. And then you're going to do that one more time. Walk in and walk out. To tabletop, knees floats off from the ground. Walk back. Everything's steady. So this teaches us how to steady our core. Shoulders, hands are the same. The upper back is still the same. I'm just extending my legs back. And then forward into tabletop, hover. One more step back. Everything stays the same. And then walk back in. Nice work. Lower the knees here. Take a field cow and cat. Arching your lower back, moving the heart through the gateway of your shoulders. On your exhale, round your back. But you can also do it the other breath, right? You can exhale forward or inhale round. It really doesn't matter. But you're going to synchronize one breath, one movement, however you like to do. Rounding and extending the spine. This is the last one. Let's stabilize ourselves back to tabletop. Lift up your right knee, abduct, moving the knee out to 3 o'clock. Kick the foot out, bend your knees. 1, very mindful. 2, 3. Bring your knee back in and extend back. So now point your toes up to the sky. And on the exhale, knee to nose round. Inhale, lifting for 2. Take your time getting a little more deliberate and slow. Inhale to lift up. Feel your spine, feel your hips moving into these planes. Flex your toes, bird dog. Reach your left palms forward like you're pushing the wall in front of you away. Pushing the back wall away with your back foot. Activate the knee, the kneecap, the thighs. Now ground down the back foot. Take your left hand all the way and circle back for 3. 2. And on 1, take your hands to your lower back. Square the hips now and noticing which hip is higher. So I'm literally trying to wiggle the hips up and down and try to find relatively even hip. Then take your heel up, toes up off the ground. Try to find the evenness in the hip, right and left. Bend your knees. If there is a possibility to touch your foot, go for it. If it's no binding, no problem. Take your hand to your lower back. Continue to lift your knee up like this. These are all good. Either grab your foot, binding or no binding. Keep lifting your back knee, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Lower down. Circle out your hips, steady your head, shoulders, and your upper back. You can see that just the pelvis and lower back is moving. And then go to the other side, very small circle. Articulating your lower back, your pelvis. Now you take your left knee to abduct to 9 o'clock. Kick it out. Bend your knee. Kick it out. Ooh, bend your knee. It's not easy to lift up, but do your best to lift as much as you can. And then bring it back in. Ooh. Lift up your knee. Point your toes. Flex your toes. Point your toes. Flex your toes. Knee to nose. Exhale. Inhale, point or flex your toes, lift up. Exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Flex your foot and extend back and feel that you're somewhat finding the evenness in the left hip and right hip. Slide your right hand across your lower back and see You can also wiggle out and see, like, literally feel like what does it feel like to drop the hips? What does it feel like to hike up that hip? And then finding that evenness, somewhat even. And let's take your right arm forward. Hold it in bird dog, pushing the right palm forward and flexing your back foot while lifting your back kneecap away from the ground. Hold that for another breath in. On the exhale, you slide your hands behind you. You can bend your knees and go into your tiger pose. This could be one without binding. You continue to lift up your knee away from the ground. Bend your knees and then reach your arm back and see if you can connect or even bind in your hand. If that is the case, you can have a leverage to kick into your hand. Open up the chest. 3 more breaths. Push down through your left hand so the hand is pushing into the block. And release. Take your left leg behind you one more time. And then your right arm is going to go up, circling. 1, 2. On the third one, we'll bring it back into neutral. Tabletop position, flow your knees up off the ground. And let's find your cow and cat. Moving at your own pace, doesn't matter which one goes, inhale, exhale, but one movement, one breath. Pull your belly in. Inhale or exhale, moving your chest forward. Inhale or exhale, rounding your spine. Step your feet back into plank pose. From there on, lift your hips back up, downward facing dog. Feel free to drop your knees to child pose at any given moment. You can also reset in tabletop if downward facing dog doesn't really resonate with you today. Feel that you're pushing the palms into the block, spreading your fingers wide apart. Come up onto the balls of your feet, please. Bend your knees, send your hips back. Send your chest towards the feet direction. And look forward. Tiptoe all the way to the tops of your mat. Take your time to get to the top. Inhale to halfway lift. Think about extending the spine, crown forward, tailbone back. You can also play with slightly bend the knees, little bouncy, or straighten your legs completely. And then feel that your spine is still lengthened when you're doing those two things, right? The legs do not really affect your spine. It's just a hip hinge forward fold. And then with that, fold from the hips, lower yourself down. Keeping a round back, flexing the spine as you roll up to standing mountain pose. Inhale to reach the fingertips towards the sky. Exhale, palms together to heart center. We'll start with a sun salutation, sun A, our classic sun A. Feet can be separated, feet together. Find your stability, whatever the feet's place. Some people might be more beneficial to widen the feet. Some people might be closing the feet together. Tadasana, mountain pose. Feel that quality of that mountain pose starting from ground up. Let's challenge ourselves by adding a toe stand. In breath to lengthen, reach up, fingertips pointing, lifting your heels up off the ground. On exhale, hands to your heart, bow and fold forward. Breathe into halfway lift. Hands can be on your lower back, by your side. Knees can be softened. Bend your knees lower down, step back to plank. Lower your knees for the first round, and we're just going to sweep the elbow to the side of our rib cage halfway, chaturanga. In breath to lengthen, lift up your knees or lower the knees, your upward facing dog. Pull your hips forward, lifting your chest. Exhale, lower your knees, tuck your toes, transition back to downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Toe heel your feet back to touch. Journey forward however you like. Step, walk, or hop. Lower down. Exhale forward for Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back, look forward. Send the crown forward. Tailbone the opposite direction. Exhale, release. Roll up to stand. Urdhva Hastasana, upward salute. Hands to your heart center. Lower your palms by your side. Tadasana, mountain pose. Second round. In breath to come up onto your toes. Rise up. Exhale, hands to your heart, fold forward. In breath to lengthen, flat back. Exhale, hands down, step back, walk back or hop. Plank pose. Lower your knees. This time we're going to lower all the way. So I'm going to move my blocks away unless you want to. Keep your hands on the block and moving slowly. Sweeping your elbows towards the side of your rib cage with control. Slowly let your belly, thighs, and chest come all the way down. A gentle back bend, elbows moving forward, under your shoulders, Sphinx pose. Active feet, so my legs are still squeezing in towards one another as if there's a block in between my thighs. That keeps my backside activate, especially my glutes. Lifting slightly the kneecaps away from the ground. From here, you can press up to seal pose, lifting the elbows off the ground. Pressing down through your palms and fingertips. Come back. Glide your fingertips towards the side of your rib cage, maybe hovering off your hands. Baby cobra without hands. Take another breath in. On the exhale, press back up, downward facing dog, however you like to get there. Toe heel your feet back to touch, in breath. On the exhale, bend your knees, look forward, step, walk, or hop to the top. Fold. Breathing into halfway lengthen. On the exhale, let it go. Roll up to standing tall mountain. Palms facing, fingertips reaching, Urdhva Hastasana, or the upward salute. Palms together to heart, center, mountain pose. Last sun A, so you have a choice to pick whatever you want for your back bend. Inhale to rise up on your tiptoes, hold that. Concentrating on a point, your drishti in front of you. Exhale, fold forward. Breathing in to lengthen halfway. Breathe out, step, walk, or hop back to plank. Hold plank on full inhale. On exhale, lower your knees or not. Challenge yourself to go halfway or all the way, choosing your back bend of your choice. Cobra, up dog, Sphinx. On the exhale, downward facing dog. Toe heel your feet back to touch. Take a breath out, let it go. Bend your knees, inhale, look between your hands or behind your hands. Notice where you want to land. On the exhale, make your way there. Lower all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. On the exhale, lower. Root to rise up once again. Plant your feet, roll up to stand. Urdhva Hastasana one more time. Upward salute. Hands to heart center. Okay, let's start with chair pose. We're going to go into our Sun B series. Chair pose, in breath. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale to halfway lift. Let's go into a slower transition. Plant your hands, step back to plank. Take your time to get there. Lower your knees, lower chest and belly. Bend your elbows to your side, reaching your heart up if you're going to your upward facing dog or other back bend of your choice. Tuck your toes under, lifting back, down dog. Toe heel your feet back to touch. We set up a warrior one, so right heel kicked up behind you. Lift up to down dog split. Bend your knees and step forward, right hand, right foot. Spin the back heel down as you rise up. One breath in, warrior one. And a breath out, we're gonna add on. So lean back. Inhale, reach high. Exhale, elbow to knee. Bending your standing knee. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, lean back. Breathing in, round your back. Exhale, elbow to knee. Take both of your palms all the way up. In breath, one more time, warrior one. Exhale, palms in front, lower down. Step back, plank. Lifting back, down dog. Toe heel your feet back to touch. Left heel rises high. Left hand, left foot. Spin your back heel down, set up Virabhadrasana 1. On one breath, you rise up to that expression of your own. Palms together or separated, either way. We'll do 2, pull back in goat pose. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, round your back, elbow to knee. Just we're adding on to this. Just warming up the spine, moving in those directions, flexion and extension. When next time you connect with your palms, reaching all the way up to warrior one, pausing here. On your next exhale, lower down. Take your vinyasa, step back. Plank pose, one full breath in. Lower down. You can lower all the way. Changing things up is a good idea. So doing another back bend that you haven't done for the first time and just exploring different shapes. Downward facing dog when you're ready. Exhale all the way. Look forward. Begin to bend your knees on your next exhale. You step, walk, hop to the top. Forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Sit back to chair pose. One breath in. And a breath out, rising back to your upward salute, Urdhva Hastasana. Hands to your heart center. Let's do that one more time. You can take some water anytime that you need to rest. We'll do that one more time, starting with chair pose. Inhale. On your next exhale, bow and fall. Breathing into halfway lengthen. Breathe out. Plunge your hand, step, walk, hop back to plank, however you like to get there. Lower your knees down, lower halfway or all the way, choosing your back bend of your choice. I'm going to add the locust pose here. Flowing your feet, engaging your inner thighs, palms facing down, fingers back, lift your heart forward. It's a little longer, linger a little bit longer. Exhale, pushing yourself back to downward facing dog. Right heel goes up. Prepare for warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Right foot, right hand. Spin the back heel down. As you rise up, come up. One breath in and a breath out, lean back. We're just going to do one time. Inhale to extend. Exhale, round and tap. Palms together, rising back to Virabhadrasana 1. Hands come down. Take it back. Right foot step back. Plank to downward facing dog. Toe heel your feet back to touch. Your left heel rises high. Left hand, left foot. Ground down your back heel as you come up. Warrior one. Feel free to track your feet so the front foot can be a little wider stand. And that way it's a lot easier to balance, right? Lean back. Exhale. Inhale to rise up. Elbow to knee. Exhale. Both palms together in breath. Rising to Virabhadrasana 1. You can look wherever is comfortable. Look up, look forward. Exhale, hands come down. Taking your vinyasa, step your left foot behind you, plank pose, choosing you lower your knees or not, lower halfway or all the way. Breathing into your choice of a back bend. You can add the locust pose On the exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward. On the exhale, step, walk, or hop to the top. Fold forward. Breath into halfway. Sit back, Utkatasana, chair pose. Arms can be varied, right? Remember, gentler version would be lowering your hands under your chin. Go pose, arms straight up. Come all the way up to Urdhva Hastasana. Gaze between your hands, slightly back bend if you like. Sending your hips forward. Hands to your heart center. Let's start with a tree pose here. So I'm going to face you guys. Placing your weight into your right foot and pick up your left knee. You can definitely go by the wall and using an extra support, but we're going to be rotating the hips first. Knee down. Feel the standing leg is buoyant. You can even keep it slightly back. Finding the balance. Go the opposite direction for 3. Good. Slow for 2. And for 1. Rotating your knee out to 9 o'clock. Your left foot can come anywhere. So it's a light press or hover. Finding your drishti is really helpful to look at a point, focusing on balancing. Lots of pressure or weight goes into your big toes. That really helps. And from here, cross the left ankle over your right and sit for your figure 4. Some of us will start to hinge forward and then send the hips back like you're sitting on an imaginary toilet behind you. Sit and squat a little bit more. Some of you have the hands come down to block or even the front shin and work on maybe lifting the right heel, the standing heel up and go into your single leg balance. Or maybe not today. Just like couple breaths, you try different shape. You can also rest your hands on your shin. Inhale to rise up with control, bringing your left knee into your chest. On the exhale, hold your left wrist, cross it over, and then side bend to the right. So squeeze your legs and try to somehow you straightening the legs. So I'm squeezing in the energy and up. Take another breath in. Prepare for the other side. Come all the way back. Separate your feet one more time. Right knee comes in. You can use your hands to passively hug in or actively release. Rotate your hips in the full range of motion. Go slow. 2. Feel free to use a chair, wall, space. Just having your hands on something is really helpful. Go the opposite direction for 3. Good. And 2. And 1. Prepare for tree pose, whether you wanted to kickstand. It's a really good practice to begin. And then you walk up, and maybe you hover. Maybe you add your arms reaching and find your gaze, whether it's in front of you or up on the ceiling. Think about placing more weight into your big toes. Last 3, 2, soften your face. And then slowly transition your ankle to your front thigh and then sit back to your figure 4. So I'm going to quickly go this way. So you can see I'm sinking my hips down, flexing or pointing your toes. It really doesn't matter. Just keep it active. I can also rotate the ankle for a little bit. Then you play with whether you wanted to lift the standing heel up and sink your hips down to that balance version. Figure 4, toe stand. Arms can be on 2 blocks. And then somehow come back up. It's going to be really fun. It's all about exploration. Pushing yourself back up. Resting the elbows on the shins. It can be one way. I want to face you guys one more time. And then slowly on the count of 3, rising back up. Now you're going to hold on to the right wrist as you extend the arms, crossing this right ankle over your left, side bend to your left. Find the length in this body, in the right side especially. From the ankle to the armpits to the fingertips. Even out the hip bones, moving the hips, right hip back. Return back to center, finding your way back to your mountain pose. Lower your hands by your side. Inhale to chair pose. We're going to add the twist now. Twist over to the right. So somewhat in the middle could be left hand to your right knee, elbow to your right. Somewhat in the middle can be right arm reach back. Any variation is good. Just try to rotate the chest to the right. Mindfully, take your left heel up and step back. You're going to be tapping a few times. So you're not staying in a static hold. You're in more like a dynamic balance. Tap and return. Tap and return. And land. Very good. Come up. Reach out to your big YT. Still keep that twist. Still keep the lunge. Lunging in a little bit. And if you wanted to modify, dropping your knee is a great idea. You don't have to be staying in that tightrope. Take your right hand down to lower back or your calf or your heel if your knee is down, or reach back. Hold that. Whatever shape you are in, it's a slight side bend and a back bend, really. Hold it here for 3, for 2, and on 1. Open your arms, windmill it all the way as you spin the back foot down, warrior 2, mindfully transition. Keeping your front knee bent in any degree that is comfortable for your knee. But I often say your knee has the whole spectrum of the range of motion. So try to straighten and then bend your knee however you like. Widen your feet to test it out, right? What is the range today for you? Everyone is different. Take your right arm goes up to the sky to reverse. Find your own expression. Keep bending in the front knee. Legs kind of stay in that external rotation in the front hip. Abduction in the back leg. And then come back to side angle. And then hold it here for 2 breaths. Finding your whole side line of your left side body extending. Feeling the length and really reaching the fingers forward. Come back to warrior 2. Take it to a reverse one more time. Maybe a different expression. Maybe in different arm variation. Come back to center, 2 more breaths to your side angle of any kind. Inhale, come back to center. Grab yourself a block real quick. You may or might not need the block to set up, but quickly grab the block. Your block will be setting up to the right corner. Prepare for half moon. So mindfully slide the back leg, lift up, and set your hand to that corner. Peel your left shoulder up. Opening your arm if it's available. Bending the back knee if it's available. Holding, binding if it's available. Mindfully stepping back behind you. Warrior 2. Wiggle it out. Finding the hips, moving your arms. And then settle back in. Come back to forward. Left hand comes into a block or all the way down, easy twist. Feel free to lower your back knee as well. Right arm goes up. Quadricep stretch. Bend your knees, pad up your knee as needed. Reach back and see if it's binding. So nothing is forced, right? If my foot is really far away, all you can do is just give it a thumb up. Great job. Stay as you are. No need to force anything. But if you can actually touch something, just go for a bite. It will be there for you. Unwind yourself. Half split. Ooh. Pointing or flexing your foot, pointing and lifting your toes, kind of find different experience when you're moving the ankle. And then walk yourself back into your runner's lunge. Take your hands forward, stepping back. You can skip your vinyasa or continue with that lower down chaturanga, halfway or all the way, moving into your up dog, any other back bend of your choice, really. On the exhale, downward facing dog. Pausing here for 2 breaths. Taking a breath in. Long breath out. Maybe side it out. In breath. Exhale, side it out. Look forward. Bend your knees. Journey forward. Step, walk, or hop. Fold all the way. Feet can be together or separate. Inhale, halfway lift. Sit back to chair pose. We're going to go into that twist. Taking a breath in. Drop your hips a little lower. And a breath out. Choosing your twist. Hand to your knee. Elbow to knee. Whichever way it is comfortable for you. You will be lifting the right heel up. And it's a mindful step back. Touch and go. 1. Touch and go. 2. Keep that twist. Touch and go. 3. 2 more to go. Touch and go. Last one, land. You can definitely drop your knees here. And then you can twist a little bit more, opening your heart. Modify lower the knee. You're still doing that twist. Minus the balance, perhaps. And then reach the left arm as if someone is pulling your upper body up. And then you stack your shoulder over the hips. And remember, your knee can come down. It does not have to balance. Okay? So choosing somewhere to be. Flip your palms, reach up. Think about pulling the strap apart with your right and your left arm. Go in the opposite direction. You can also rest your hand to your lower back. Windmill it open, warrior 2. So mindfully spinning the back foot down to parallel with the back of your mat. This way. All right. Finding that long arm extension away from the chest. Take it. Abducting your arms away. Flip the left palms up to the sky. Try to keep the front knee bent. Keep abducting your back leg away. Keep external rotating your left hip. Come back to warrior 2. Transition to your side angle of any kind. Both side body is lengthened. Whatever you want to do with your arm. 2 more times. In breath. Exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. One more dance. Inhale. Exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Find your way to half moon. Use a block. You will be taking a block towards the left corner and be very light. So I'm trying to drag my back foot, lifting up and set up. Maybe the hands come to the block. Maybe you'll find a drishti. Your gaze can be out to the side. It could be up to your upper arm. Or you can keep your hand to your lower back, to your hip. Engaging your back leg. Bend your knee if you want to transition to Chapasana, Candy cane. Hold it if it's binding. For 3, bending your standing knee. For 2, landing quietly back, warrior 2. And then we're just moving the arms like a little surfer or a dancer. Bending the front knee, bending the back knee. And then finding right in the middle, back to Virabhadrasana 2. Windmill it all the way down, easy twist. Right hand comes down to a block or all the way. It could be on your fist as well. Some of you can do that. And then lower your knee. Back knee can be all the way down on the ground. Left arm can go up. Easy twist. Take your left arm back. Bend your back knee and see if it connects to your pinky side, your ankle. Lean out towards the right side. So as if I'm leaning my head and upper back to the wall behind me. Open up the chest, the rib cage on your left. Both of your hands come forward. This time, we're going to step the back foot forward to a Malasana yogic squat. Go ahead and make your way to the top. Sit and squat. Elbows can be inside your knee. Your heels may rise up, that's okay. You can also set a block under your sit bone. Those are good support. Take another breath in. You will be pressing the feet down to rise up, 5-pointer star. When you're ready, reach up. Try not to use momentum, but using your strength to come up. Hands to the heart center, toe, heel your feet. Right knee comes back up. Flow your right leg back to airplane. So airplane is a little different, right? So it's a back bend, lifting the chest versus your warrior 3 is sort of line up your head, shoulder, hip. This is an airplane, Dakasana. Lifting your head, heart forward and up. Flex your toes, landing in crescent. Open, warrior 2. This time, turn your inner left foot into wide leg forward fold. On the exhale, slowly letting go. Halfway and all the way. Maybe your hands come to your feet. Maybe they rest on a block. I'm just going to quickly grab the block because it's accessible. So your palms will be pressing to the block or the floor. Right arm goes up to twist. Bring your right hand down. Left arm goes up to twist. Open up your heart, lifting and reaching your fingertips towards the sky. Also noticing your hips shifting towards the side that you're facing. Let's try one time. One more time. Right arm goes up. Noticing your hips are shifting to the right and feel that stretch in your left inner thigh. Facing to the right. Go to the other side and see if you notice that too. Right hand down, left arm up. Now your chest is facing the left side, so is your hips. It's a little shifting to the left. Feel that your inner right thigh is getting a nice stretch. Come back to center. And started to bend your right knee. Turn your toes slightly out. So now your feet are not parallel. Go into your Skandasana. Side lunge. You can be up on the block. You can be heel lifting up. You can also drop the heel. Really depends on the range of motion, your knee, hip, ankles. So go ahead and go side to side. I like to having a block so that I know how to land all the way, but you can also do it without. Dropping the hips. Imagine you are balancing a book or a block over your head and rise back up and down. 2 more, side lunge, Skandasana. Modify as needed. All of those things are helpful using a block, and even the block doesn't touch the ground, you just go side to side. Good. From here, we're gonna turn the toes all the way back to the front, step your back foot forward, and then make your way down into your toe stand. Lift your heels up, start to drop the hips all the way down to the ground. So make your way to the seat. We're gonna do a feel back bend. So allow yourself to roll down with control. Lower back, mid back, upper back, descending all the way down. Extend your arms and your feet the opposite direction. And then hug your knees into your chest. A couple of things you can do if you don't want to go into a bridge pose. There is a supportive bridge pose you can practice using a block, setting up under your tailbone as you lift your pelvis. And there you are in a supported bridge. If you wanted to go for a bridge pose without block, I'm going to cue everybody into that. Walk your heels a little closer. Your arms will be able to touch your heels. And feet can be separated however you need to be. Wider is going to be easier for the hips. Drive down through your heels. Lower back start to peel off from the ground. Same with your mid back, upper back. Wiggle your shoulders in. If you want binding, this is a time you can connect with your fingers interlace under your sacrum. Lift your hips, really engaging your backside. Your glutes engaged. If you want a little bit more challenge, you can raise your left heel up and lower. Right heel up and lower. Maybe both heels up and lower. If you want another challenge, lift up your left foot and send the toes up to the sky. Single like bridge. Lower your heel, your foot comes down. Right leg goes up, single leg bridge. If you still want to go into a little bit more challenge variation, hold that for 3, 2, lift your hips up and release. Lower your upper, middle, lower back by releasing your hands. If you have your interlace, your hands interlace, your fingers interlace. Lower upper, middle, lower back down. Hug your right knee into your chest. Extend your left heel forward. We'll do a single leg spinal twist. Left hand guide the knee over to the left. Right arm extended out to a knee position. Take a few breaths in. Softening without forcing too much of bringing the knee down. It's not really the goal, but it's like bringing your knee and your arm in the opposite direction as much as possible and softening the shoulder, finding balance. Come back to center. Hug your knee into your chest, the same knee. Walk your hands behind your right calf. Maybe the knee, maybe walk up to ankle while maintaining your left leg pushing forward, actually. Your left leg is like you're standing, really. But in a different orientation, you ground your heel. Unless you wanted to modify, you can also bend your knees, press your foot down. Either way. And release. Start to lower your right heel back to the floor. Hug your left knee into your chest this time. Use your hand to kind of guide and maybe squeeze your thigh towards the belly. Use your right hand to guide the left knee to the right. Open your left arm out to a T or goalpost. Find your balance here. Weight on your left shoulder. Less forcing the knee to come down to the ground. More focus on the left shoulder, maybe getting that shoulder heavy. Breathe. Being present is the goal. So in this present moment, notice how your body feels in the spinal twist. Lots of effort here. And then what can you soften in this posture? Coming back and hug your left knee into your chest. Hold on to the back of your thigh, knee, and maybe you have a little walk up. Go for it. And extend this right heel forward. Keep it like you're standing. You're flexing the right ankle. Lifting your shoulder blades up off the ground. For a little less effort, you can lie down and just keep your head down. Slightly pull your thigh towards your belly, and that's all good. Different variation, different experience. Slowly let go. Letting your heel come down. Find your full body stretch one more time, arms and legs in the opposite direction. And on the exhale, lower your hands by your side. Find your Shavasana here. Some of us might need a block or pillow to prop the head up. Some people like knees knocking, feet apart, feeling the lower back connected more towards the ground. Some people like the traditional Shavasana, corpse pose. Some people like a seated meditation, legs up on the wall. There's so many different shapes that you can practice. And the best about Shavasana is the practice of letting go and being in this present moment. Notice all of these things happening outside of us, and also noticing your reaction to sounds, to thoughts, to bodily sensations. And without changing anything, we're resting and observing, leaning into those things as we recenter ourselves to the present. Nothing to do, just being with our self. Feel the energy. Feel the weight of your mat. There's a lot of spaciousness and openness in your heart, in your front body. Taking this time to be for the next 5 rounds of breath, and see you can be with just the beginning of each inhale. Be in the middle of that pause, and followed by the emptiness of that exhale. The full cycle of your breath. The next time you are ready to come out, next time you inhale, start to wiggle the fingers and toes, taking a full body stretch, maybe reaching the arms overhead, pointing or flexing your toes in front of you. Draw your knees into your chest with your arms squeezing your shoulders or maybe your thighs, giving yourself a tight hug. And then when you're ready to come out, you just come up in your own way, finding a comfortable seat. Putting with the ground up, notice your sit bone, stacking the joints, hips, shoulders, head. And place your hands in the center of your heart center. Feel your body centering here, grounded and supported. Giving yourself lots of gratitude and love for your own practice, for this time that you carve out to take care of you. And we'll bring our thumb knuckles to our third eye center. giving each other gratitude for showing up today. We'll give gratitude for this beautiful practice that went on thousands of years. We'll give gratitude for all the teachers and teaching that came before all of us. We bow and stay to one another. Namaste. Thank you so much for being here. I look forward to seeing you next time. Be well.